Ich darf herzlich begrüßen Dr. Vladan, Professor Vladan Joler. Kann einmal... so, welcome, that's your microphone. So, you held a keynote right now on stage. So what was it about?
So I presented one map. Basically, this map is some kind of representation of like a process, how our behavior is transformed into profit. But it's also like map of Facebook algorithmic empire. So most of the presentation was about that, but then we had like a really interesting discussion after it, like discussing different aspects of power that are related to Facebook and what it means that you sit on such a big amount of like personal data, behavioral data, and how they can use and misuse all of this.
So mapping Facebook algorithm, I think that's kind of abstract topic. So how it is possible to visualize those algorithms?
Yeah, you need to have like a lot of imagination, I guess. It is really hard, but it's important. And the map that we or anyone else can create, basically it's not the map that really is like this in the reality, and it's just one part of the bigger story, because like all of those invisible things happening within the Facebook, they're so not understandable for us that it's really important to even try to sketch how this looks like, how the process looks like, and what kind of algorithms are basically between us and other people that are on these networks, for example.
What is your main motivation behind this project?
What we do is we are trying to research and these invisible infrastructures. And there is a lot of invisible infrastructures on internet, and internet as a whole is one big invisible infrastructure. So, but the Facebook for us was like really a challenge, because first like 1.6 billion people are using it, so it like affect a lot of lives. And then it was a challenge because the topic of algorithmic transparency, that is speaking about like how we should have access to those algorithms and try to understand what they're doing. It's starting to be like a really something that is going on in like academic community for like last few years. So for us it was a challenge to try to do that. And I think we did it. Maybe it's not the best map in the world, but it's a map, so you can use it and to travel through the deep, dark undergrounds of the Facebook empire.
Yeah. One step back, maybe we talked about this, and we all heard about it. What are algorithms? What are Facebook algorithms?
That's like really, it's a functions, mathematical functions mostly. For example, algorithm, you have, city lights, that when you're crossing the street, you have a green and red one, no? And then there is like algorithm, it's a rule. For example, how many seconds the green one is, how many seconds the red one is. And for example, just this simple algorithm, it's creating relation between the cars and the humans. No? So this is the simple algorithm, and it's important how they are working. But there are much more complex algorithms, and for example, within Facebook, and some of them are for trying to understand what is your like social status, what is your habits, how do you behave, what is your routines and anomalies, and so on, so on. So really, really interesting field.
So yeah, and you had a great discussion afterwards. So with Julia Powles, for example. So let's maybe we can talk with her as well. So what are the chances of algorithm? First, maybe the chances.
The chances of algorithms. Well, I mean, I think one thing we spoke about was that we need more two-dimensionality in our interaction with algorithms. So the Share Lab has done this incredible visualization of the ways that Facebook structures information for us. But shouldn't we have some more ways to really leverage the fact that they say they're an intermediary, that we can ourselves choose different ways that we interact with the algorithm? So ideas to, for example, structure your news feed in a way that prioritizes the things that are most important to you, rather than that make you the most emotionally engaged with Facebook.
Yeah. but the structuring is a great issue on this topic.
Indeed.
So when it comes to content and when it comes to personal data, how can our personal data or what we shared influence our newsfeed?
I think totally. I mean, the reality, I think visualizing the various ways that our most intimate aspects of our lives, and even, I mean, Facebook has perfected collecting the posts that you never send. The one that you start writing and then you think, oh, that might be a bit too emotional, or I might be looking a bit sad, and so you change it to be more funny. So the sort of surveillance is on everything from your daily routine, that you check it first thing in the morning, maybe you're a lonely person and you don't have someone else to talk to, right through to how long you spend on a particular X's page and so on.
So, and how can that influence what you see in your newsfeed, for example? So maybe.
There's so many inputs into this Facebook machine that it's really hard to say which one is really affecting what. But the thing is that this is also changing all the time. So what it's today doesn't mean that it will be tomorrow. But they are in power to choose different feeds, different source of information, and based on this information to present you what you want or to see. So it's kind of really sophisticated shopping mall in which like everything is meant for you to like enjoy and looks nice, but everything is there in order for you to click, to shop, to. It's one big marketing agency. It's the biggest marketing agency that exists in the world, I believe, no?
In the discussion, you talked about the level of darkness. So we see the interface, but there is a more complex system behind. So how complex is it, and what is how can we see behind the scenes, maybe?
It's really hard, but there is a lot of things going on behind the screens and behind the interfaces. And even the interfaces as it's really interesting to research, because it's an entrance level into this factory. It shapes your box as well. So how you express yourself, what you can do and what you cannot do. But what's going on behind, there is like really, really complex set of different algorithms, and I believe that even people in Facebook don't have a big picture, don't have like whole picture, because like a lot of different parts are there working together in some kind of harmony or not harmony, I don't know.
So what were the main teasers on the panel, or in the discussion on the panel? So the main teasers are the main
I think things. That this way in which, as almost a medieval feudal system, we have come to accept this deep surveillance capitalism, and in order to do something very basic and human, to communicate with each other. And I think that sense in which Facebook has become, the keynote of this conference is about the Facebook and the algorithmic public sphere. So we interact as if we're in a public sphere, but in fact we're in this shopping mall that is tuned so acutely, more than you can even realize yourself, to play your emotions, to play to your, all of us have these impulses. That's why we click on the scandalous, salubrious stories, even if they're not serving anything of a higher ideal. So that, it's actually, that people like to distinguish, what sort of dystopia do we go to? Do we go to one where it's very dark, or do we go to one where it's all about the things we love?
So, and you talked on the panel about the inefficiency of Facebook of the algorithms. So, how are these? So, why are they inefficient?
Yeah. So this is an interesting thing. So, in a way, they're incredibly efficient at digesting us and exposing us to the world. But they digest us through a derivative version of ourselves, our expressed self. And I think that the inefficiency is that Facebook is trying to bring in a world where and is part of a cadre of companies that are bringing in a world where we rely on algorithms for all sorts of things, what we used to rely on human labour to do. And I could tell you what I like in a very direct sense, or you could have it intermediated by this incredible computational engine. And I know that ShareLab's future work, and I think this is such a fascinating area, is what is the environmental cost of us all, sort of being churned through this massive computation engine. And every time you check your phone, we all check our phones an extraordinary amount, 150 times a day or something, and that is like powering all of the lights in this whole venue, and we don't think about it for an hour. We don't think about that sort of real physical cost, the belching cloud, which is just a mass server farm. Instead it's invisible, it's frictionless.
So, and we talked about the changes, but very short answer, what are the risks?
Risks of what?
Algorithms, maybe.
They can do a lot of crazy things. They can do also a lot of nice things, but they can like discriminate people, no? Like based on a lot of different things. The craziest thing that exists now is this idea of like that Facebook should see is something that's like fake news or not fake news, and then present you this or not. It's completely crazy idea, because then we are giving this to Facebook a chance to be the one who is choosing what is true and what is not true. And they're like, new danger that exists there.
I think the risk is that we abrogate the public sphere to a private park.
Okay, thank you very much, Julia Powell and Vladan Joler. Es geht jetzt weiter hier bei den Bühnen wieder. Viel Spaß.